Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Andrew with C Brothers Gaming. I'm bringing you a video of Civilization, and I am going to take over the world here as the Axis powers. I started a game not too long ago just to play around with the Axis and to kind of see what they could do, and as you guys can see, I'm in August of 1954, and these are the last two Russian cities that are still in the game. I'll go ahead. I'll show you around the world here real quick. As you can see, I have captured yeah, pretty much every Russian city there is here, even the new ones that they built. As you get a little bit closer towards the Eastern European front, you could see that I'm actually starting to irrigate and railroad. I don't have any troops out in fortresses or anything like that. There's really no point. Nobody's gonna come across there. Here is actually Germany, which is where, obviously this is where you start. So as you can see, it's pretty farmed and pretty railroaded, and I had some troopers and some forts because the Allies were giving me some issues, but with enough persistence, I was actually able to take over the main land here for the Allies. And then one of the questions that people have asked me in the past discussing this game is how do you take over here? And what I did was I went down and I actually took over Spain first. So if you look over here, I took over Spain and I took over Africa. And that's critical because then you control pretty much the whole Atlantic Ocean here minus, if you don't take over this island up here. And what I did was I really made Rome a production city. Rome has a lot of hills that you can mine and railroad. And if you go ahead and you build in Rome, you build power plants and offshore platform and manufacturing plants and make sure it has a factory and really try to get that production as high as possible, you can really pump out, bombers every 2 turns. And I used that to take over Spain with some paratroopers. You just kind of drop in after you clear them out with the bombers. And then I built a couple of carriers out of Rome. So I built carriers out of Rome, and I built an AEGIS cruiser out of one of these cities. I forget which one. I think it was Marseille. And I followed along the wall here. I loaded the carrier with like 4 or 5 bombers and 2 or 3 helicopters, and I just went up this way, and I stopped right around down here, and I just bombed Washington, and I made sure that I was 6 squares away so that when Washington was cleared out, I could just move in with the helicopter. And the helicopters can capture cities. They don't have to. You don't have to have a paratrooper. You don't have to make a land drop. Nothing like that. And I was able to just move in with a helicopter. And then once I got that done, I was able to rush a mech infantry. And then I was able to go ahead and rush a temple, barracks, whatever you need to get the city out of civil disorder. With Axis being Republic, you're going to have a bunch of corruption in these faraway cities. But I was able to rush that, and then the key thing that allowed me to capture New York is I was able to rush an airport real quick. My income by this time, it was pretty much disposable. So I was able to rush an airport real quick, and then I could just kind of airlift ground troops, howitzers, tanks, whatever. Plus, I still had like 5 bombers. I didn't even lose a bomber, and I was able to capture New York pretty quickly, and that defeated the Allies. So I just did that a couple turns ago. Again, you guys can see the corruption's pretty huge, but at this point, it's really unrelatable. I took over Scandinavia from the neutrals. That was pretty easy. This city up here, Murmansk, I just brought a couple tanks up there. No big deal. Took that out. Probably the most difficult part was taking out Moscow and Stalingrad. Those two cities, they had city walls. They had an advanced flight, so they had bombers, and they were pushing pretty hard. They were pressing pretty hard against us back. But the two main cities that, if you guys have the access, you really should be focusing on, it's going to be Vienna. Vienna has huge production, minimal corruption. You can pump out bombers out of there really quick. If you build an airport in Munich and you build an airport in Vienna, you can get a new bomber every turn. Just have them rotating and you get a new bomber, and really make sure you protect your bombers with fighters as well. So what I did was I captured Kiev, Dnipropetrovsk, Minsk. I really fortified this front wall. Then I moved on towards Smolensk, Kursk, Kharkov, Rostov. I took this down here at the bottom, and I kind of used these three cities here, Kharkov, Rostov, and Maikop, to really push on Stalingrad. And I used the other cities up here, Smolensk, Minsk, Leningrad. I took that as well, and really made a push at Moscow. And once I was able to do that, I was really able to split my forces, and I was able to push towards Kubyshev here. This is a key city, Kubyshev. You really need to get this city under control, and you need to build an airport here. The troops from Europe are just too far away to really get anywhere at this point, so you really need to start doing airlifts, and you really need to start getting people into Kubyshev, and then you can focus on these three cities here with all these hills. These three cities, the Russians tend to build around them. That's kind of where they start their empire. As you can see, they have a bunch of newer cities that I was able to take over. I did destroy a bunch of them as well. And then I was able to come down here, take Batum. I went to war with the Turks. I wiped them out pretty quick because Bucharest here, pretty powerful city, can produce planes very quickly. I had one city just producing paratroopers. I was able to take Istanbul, Izmir, and Athens all in the same turn, along with some help from Rome, building those bombers. And then I made sure I kept Tobruk. Very interesting. I just have a fighter in here because I had a tank in there for the longest time. I rushed city walls, I rushed SA missile battery, and the tank held. They threw some bombers at me, they threw some other tanks. The tank held, so it was pretty great. Um, Held Tripoli, went this way over Africa, took over the French there, and then I went and I attacked these three cities from two different fronts. Down this way from Batum, the Turkish area, the France area, I was able to put some bombers down on Jerusalem and some bombers over down by Alexandria. So I was able to take these three allied cities, and then I was able to move my way over here towards Mosul, Baghdad, and Basra. So the funny thing is that I actually took all this out, and then the neutrals still had Tehran here, and completely forgot about them. So I just kind of went in there and I just wiped them out pretty quick with helicopters. Worked my way up to Krasnovodsk. Took that out. They just had a rifleman in there. That was super easy. And then at that point, I had pretty much everything. If you look at the top right, I had pretty much everything over here all done. And then I was able to focus my attention on these cities here, and I wiped them out fairly quickly. And as you guys can see now, we just have two Russian cities left, and I have a ton of bombers and a ton of other stuff. So let's go ahead and let's see who is next to move. So it's going to be this guy here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to attack Krasnoyarsk here real quick. They don't have any fighters. They don't have anything. They're really just trying to defend their cities at this point. I want to make sure the bombers are pretty well rested, but this howitzer, he ignores city walls. Should be able to get a double kill on that pretty quickly. And then I've got just bombers all over the place, and I mean this should be the fall here. So let me go ahead. Let me move this tank out. They're gonna have some partitions that are gonna pop up. Not a big deal. Our tank should be able to fortify in there and take those out. I will have civil disorder next turn, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of these worker squares to make sure that I have happy and unhappy balanced. Switch to mech infantry real quick just to get some sort of defense going. It's not really going to make a difference. They want to talk to me, of course, because, they're going to die, so they want to talk to me. But let's see if we can bomb these partitions. If you notice, all my bombers are veteran. They have to be in order to beat this. You cannot have non-veteran troops. The bombers will lose to like the stupidest attacks. Just basic infantry will just defend against the bombers, and if they're not veteran, like look at this guy, like he's a veteran bomber and he barely beat that. So I'm gonna open up this tank here. I'm gonna just kind of move 1, 2, 3. I should be able to take Cremona next turn. I'll move him over this way. Let's get that guy knocked out. Beautiful. As you can see, I had a paratrooper here. He was putting in some work. When you do get these cities, the first thing you want to do is get a defense in there right away. Barbarians can show up at this point in the game, so we want to make sure that these cities are actually still defended. So at this point, I'm not really going to do anything. I'm just going to build temples, just because the cities will grow and they will get two. The temple will take 2 unhappy citizens per turn, so that'll be very helpful. After you build the temples in these Russian cities and any city far away from the capital, you need to build a courthouse once you have 2 defensive units in your city. And the courthouse is really going to help out with a lot of, managing that trade and waste. And when you manage the trade and you get rid of that waste, it's really going to help out with your civil disorders, because what's going to happen is you're going to get more trade for luxuries, and those courthouses are going to help you eliminate a lot of that waste. So next turn we should have this knocked out. Thank you guys for watching. You can see here it doesn't even do anything. It just moves me to my next turn when I hit enter. So we'll go through a lot of this stuff here. This is here. Let me get a second defensive in there. So I built a temple, courthouse. Those are priorities that you're gonna need. Courthouse for Kubyshev. Yeah, this city right here was critical. It really allowed me to push forward and airdrop tanks, airdrop howitzers, and really get. Well, I got backfed. Why am I building a helicopter here? I am the worst. All right, let's just build a coliseum. And then I'll just buy it because I have 24,000 gold, and it doesn't really matter at this point. Alright, so a temple for Valencia. And then I'll do a courthouse here. That won't have to worry about this city because I'm going to win next turn. Washington built a bank. The Bank of Washington, everyone. Alright. I have a courthouse here already, and the corruption is still really high. City walls, I guess. A library. Okay, that was a good move, I guess. We'll build a Bank of Newcastle here, too, just to try to help that luxury manufacturing plant. Yeah, so Munich, definitely that city. As you can see, I'm supporting 16 units, mostly tanks, fighters, bombers, helicopters, stuff like that. Really, those 2 cities have to be your production cities. Oh, crap. I don't want a fortress there. And then this way you can really push. And what I'd recommend, if you're the Axis, try to declare war against Russia right away. It does take Russia a little while to build up. If you can get their capital before they discover advanced flight, you're going to be in really great shape, because they're not going to be able to bomb you. And when they start getting the bombers, then at that point, and I think this should be the game, at that point, the bombers will really start attacking you, and they can build them pretty quick, especially in those cities over by like Magnetorsk and the cities where they tend to build around. So there it is, Russian civilization destroyed by the Axis. I don't know what's gonna happen here. I've never beaten it as the Axis. I'm just gonna fortify everybody. It might, since it was an objective scenario, it might just go ahead and move to the next turn. I don't know. I can't fortify the helicopter. I'll just put him back to Krasnovosk. I don't know what's gonna happen here, so let's we'll see this together. I did take over the world as Russia. We are doing a Let's Play on that, which is gonna be pretty fun. Just waiting for Matt to get back on there with us before we continue that, and he should be coming on pretty soon. We have some time scheduled where we're gonna go ahead and hang out, and we're gonna make some civilization videos. So I'm just doing some irrigation here, some farming, some railroading, and just trying to develop my brand new world that I just conquered. So let's get a fortress going, clear that forest. Let's see what happens when I end the turn. I'm very curious because there's no other civilizations. So that's it. So if you look at the map here, it's all access, it's all me. I'll show you guys my tax rate. As you can see, I'm making about 700 gold per turn. I put it at 50, 30, 20 so that I could make excess and that I could rush things if I needed, so that I had a bunch of gold just to rush stuff whenever I needed to. The science came. Just the more cities I took over, the more science I got, obviously, and the more courthouses I built in the conquered cities. I kept luxuries at 20%, reason being is because if you were to go to Rome, one of the wonders that they have in Rome is Michelangelo's chapel. That counts as a cathedral in all of your cities, which makes 3 unhappy people content. So I had that to my advantage, so I could keep luxuries down to 20% instead of 30. It was a little rough in the beginning with some civil disorder and so forth, but that was it. So if you look at my units, I've got a couple hundred units here for sure. How many bombers? I ended up with 26 bombers. I did disband a lot of them along the way. 14 tanks, 5 howitzers, 17 fighters. That was critical early on when the Allied had bombers, some helicopters, and my Navy I kind of lost focus on the Navy there after a while. It was more about the ground game and armor and so forth, but I disbanded a lot of the armor after a while because it was mostly just bombing cities and paradropping in. So that's my defensive top 5 cities, all access obviously because we control the world. And then I'll click on cheat here just so that you guys can see that I did not do any cheating. This was all 100% just playthrough and good production and good city strategy attacking and planning. So let's go ahead and send the turn and see what happens. And it looks like nothing's going to happen. So since it's an objective-based scenario, we just took over the world, and that was it. So I'm just going to continue through a lot of this stuff here, and then I'll go ahead. I'll close out the video. And supermarket, factories, New York builds a temple. That's nice. Yeah, it's a lot to play through. But yeah, that's it. So the Axis, we did it. December 1954. And fun fact, this is on deity. So it definitely is possible. You just got to get out of the gate immediately, and you have to take over these Russian cities, but no later than December 1940 if you're going to have a chance at winning this. The Allies did put up a pretty good fight over here. Critical to build coastal fortresses, Cherbourg especially. They like to attack that city, and St. Nazaire. Definitely need a coastal fortress there as well. You really need to rush. You need to rush things as well. Actually, no, I don't think I played this on deity. I think this was king. I apologize. But yeah, you need to rush those. So just wanted to have a little fun with the Axis and show you that it is possible that you can take over the world in the World War II scenario. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Andrew. This is C Brothers Gaming. As you can see, we are the Civ Masters here. We got some great playlists we're working on, Clash of Clans, if you guys like that. And we've got Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes we're working on as well. So check those out. I will put a Baby Yoda picture up here as well. Click on him, and that'll go ahead and let you subscribe. And then go ahead and check out the other video that I'm going to post up here as well, so you guys can see that. So thank you so much. We control the world now, so you guys enjoy, hopefully, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.